Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the common types of souvenirs that were given away on this ship. People ask me all the time if the ship had a challenge coin from her, any of her time in service. Like, was there a historically accurate challenge coin for this ship? And the answer, as far as we know, is no. We've never had a challenge coin donated. We've never found a picture of somebody coining somebody else from this ship. Being decommissioned in 1991, it seems to just by a little bit predate the challenge coin era. So nowadays, with challenge coins being the predominant things that people exchange, when you meet someone from another ship, somebody gives you a great tour or whatever, or does something for you, you meet somebody from a foreign navy, the thing that you always do is give them a challenge coin. Well, what was the equivalent of that on Battleship New Jersey then? It seems to be fairly similar throughout the ship's entire commission, from the 40s up until the 80s and 90s. They seem to be doing the same sort of stuff. And none of this probably will be surprising. Well, maybe one item. But we'll get to that in a minute. So first off, anything that you have that is branded by your ship is going to be an obvious one to go for. So maybe t-shirts more than sweaters, but things like that, pretty common. This particular sweater we do sell in the store today if you wanted one. Likewise, ball caps. People always ask about the baseball caps. Shouldn't they have the ship's silhouette on them? That's pretty common. No, it seems like the ones that this ship's crew wore just said USS New Jersey BB-62. Blue like this. Some of them would have the scrambled eggs on them, of course. But this seems to be, and it would have been left empty here so that you could put a rating badge in the middle if you were interested in that. But very common, like somebody gives you something and you don't have anything to give them, you just take the hat off your head and be like, I got you this. And lots of guys collect these hats. Likewise, patches. Battleship New Jersey had a different logo, which had a different patch throughout each of her 4 commissions. So this one's the Korean War patch, this one is the Vietnam era patch. There's also one for World War II, there's also one for the 80s. We sell all of these in the ship's store. Different departments had their own patches as well. So I've seen an electronic warfare patch for this ship from the 80s, and then you would also have patches for the different Westpacks and different types of cruises you've gone on. I've seen Korean War examples of that for this battleship, several for the various 1980s deployments that the battleship made. Also, you might get patches relating to what task force or battle group you're in. So again, I've seen, I think they're Korean War era, they might be Vietnam War era, but 7th Fleet patches with the battleship, and then of course Battle Group Romeo patches with the battleship for when she was the centerpiece of her own battle group. So these types of patches for each of the different commissions we also sell in the store. We don't necessarily have replicas of all the Westpac patches, however. But that's another common thing. I have to imagine when these guys went on Liberty that they just had a pocket full of those patches, which you could buy tax-free in one of the multiple ship stores. Today we're in the Quick Stop, but there is another space back aft called the ship store, and both of them would have sold products like this. The Quick Stop is because the ship is so big, and on New Jersey, the ship store is nearly all the way at the back. It's not in the same place on all the Iowas. So they install this up forward so that these guys don't have to go all the way back there. Likewise, it seems like other things that you had on your person that had the ship's logo on it were pretty common trade items. Zippo lighters, which we're thinking about selling in the ship's store. Let us know if you're interested in that kind of product. They're kind of expensive. It's not the sort of thing that you would buy as a cheap souvenir or gift, but it seems like everybody on the ship bought a Battleship Zippo, and just you had it in your pocket, so if somebody gave you something, you give it back to them, or you give them a Zippo or patch, whatever you had on you at the time. Other things that are sold in the ship store, during her service that were pretty commonly given out are photographs of the ship, like this one. These sorts of prints. This is the tracks that the ship took during World War II. Here's a couple of shots of her firing. These are 80s pictures that were sold to crew member, then the chief engineer, Dennis Ryan, retired as a captain. He recently donated these, but they bought in the ship's store. And again, they've got the ship's name on it. They're cool. They're great things to take home to your family as souvenirs. They're great things to hand somebody. These sorts of things, less common for you to just have on your person to give away. Some other types of things that are given out as awards. Wanted to show this off. My Uncle Rick served as a Russian linguist on the aircraft carrier Midway, and at some point he traded something, probably a patch or a hat, to a Russian sailor for this. So it's going both ways. Oftentimes somebody will present you with something, and like I said, then you've got to just like, have this patch, have this hat off my head. So it's not something necessarily unique to the United States Navy. And it's not just always souvenirs. Oftentimes things that you give away are consumables. So for example, chocolate bars, very common to hand out. The United States Navy has a lot of chocolate bars on their ship. We have records from the supply department of them selling thousands of candy bars in any given year. So those are relatively cheap, and they're very appreciated, and depending on what country sailors you're trading them for, that it might not be as common in that country, especially if it's in wartime. Like during World War II, very famous Americans giving out candy bars and other people just not having that. So a much appreciated thing. And then of course, the weirdest thing, the item that you might not think about that is worth its weight in gold depending on where you go in the world, bars of American soap. I've been told by many, many sailors that when they go on Liberty, they would carry these around and hand them out, and people just absolutely love getting bars of American soap. I've also heard stories of guys who gave this to somebody and then them thinking, oh, it's a candy bar? So that might have happened as well. So what's your experience with souvenirs like this? What sort of products would you buy in the ship's store to give away? What sort of products have you received if you're a former military person and you've gotten to do this sort of exchange? I almost always keep either a challenge coin or a patch in my pocket when I go and visit other museum ships. And when my counterpart there gives me a tour, I usually give them that. But as you can see, even though the Battleship seems to have predated challenge coins being a commonplace thing, they still had plenty of objects to give away as souvenirs. What sort of objects do you collect when you go to ship stores? I tend to collect the refrigerator magnets, but a lot of my friends collect the hats or patches. Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to support the museum. There's also a link down there to the ship's store if you'd like to go over there and buy some of these products and support us that way. You can also support us by liking, sharing, subscribing so more people find about us in the museum. Thanks for watching.